Okay, I'm back. I wanted to talk to you about a subject that is really, sucks. It's about getting arrested. Now, I'm not going to talk about convictions per se. Not that I'm going to hide that at any point. I'll just have to do that other stuff in other videos because you can be arrested for many different reasons and not be convicted. Or if you get arrested a bunch of times because you don't show up to probation because you were convicted. I mean, there's just a lot of different reasons. I'm probably just going to pick a few arrests and go through the story arcs and then wrap this up. I'm sorry. If you don't like my videos, just, scroll through them, scroll past, block me, whatever you want to do is cool. Um, they must not be for you or whatever. Without any further ado, here we go. I mean, the police showed up at my dad's house like they knocked on the door and they came in. It was a screen door. I was sitting there on the couch. Um, he asked me to turn down my headphones. I had a Walkman, like a cassette Walkman. This should date me. That's about how old I am. And I don't know exactly what I was listening to, but it was probably Metallica or Pantera, Megadeth, something. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I think he asked me to turn it down. I couldn't hear him because my headset was on. I kind of seen his mouth move, and he was from the Yakima Police Department. Um, I didn't obey him, and so he smacked my Walkman like off my off my lap. I think I was just sitting there on a chair. He leaned over a coffee table, kind of just smacked the Walkman out, and my Walkman hit the ground. And I got up and I pushed him because I didn't really like that. That was like kind of rude, but I was being rude. Um, Years later, I can tell you how stupid I think this stuff is now, but I'm just going to try to give it to you as it sat. I was 18 years old and not very smart. Anyways, um, he started like, and we went past the coffee table, which kind of got towards the front door and the screen door, and he was trying to control my hands, and I was just moving in and out of his hands. I mean, he'd try to grab me, and I would just move my hand so he couldn't grab me, and then he kept just trying to grab me, and so we're kind of in that little dance, and this other cop comes up behind me, opens the screen door, reaches around my side right here, reaches around with his mace, and pushes down and sprays me in my face. I had these contacts in, like my contacts, and they just went white. Well, at least that's what I perceived. I don't know if they look white on the outside. I don't know, but they just went white. Their contacts were like a sponge, and so when I got sprayed with that mace, it just filled up with mace and stayed there, and it hurt really bad. And so I just put my head down like and I put my hands in and of course by that time now I had mace on my hands. I'm just rubbing my face with maced hands, but he was still spraying when my head went down, and it went over obviously my torso into his own face because he was standing there spraying and my head went down, and now the mace is in his face and he's spraying himself. The rest of it didn't work out very well because at that point I got cuffed and stuffed. My dad had about 6-ish steps on his front porch. It was 24th and Tieton in Yakima, Washington. And I think my head hit every single stair when I was drugged down it. Now, I'm not saying I didn't have this coming, so I'm not asking for sympathy or whatever. I'm just trying to tell you what happened. I got shoved in the cop car. So the original cop that was giving me, or policeman, was giving me a ride, he was the guy that had maced me and maced himself. He made it at least 2 or 3 blocks, I think, somewhere around there. Then he flicked his lights on, as much as I could tell, because everything was white and I was cuffed and like locked in the back. He gets out of the car, and one of his other buddies, like behind him, is in a different cop car, comes up, and I think they're like, they got that saline solution or something, and they're just pushing it in his eyes or whatever. He was taking it like a champ. He took it a whole lot better than me, because dude, I was crying. I couldn't even take it. It sucked. Don't try mace at home. It sucks. I did. Anyway, so they took me down. And I think that other policeman left him there with his squad car. And since I was already in the back of that one, they weren't gonna like switch me. So he just like got his friend, I mean colleague, got into the cop car that I was in, shut the door, and drove me down to the Yakima Police Department. There's like a little fence thing in the back. I think it's like on Second Street. Yeah, Second Street, and they have like a little area they kind of drive into the back, and they pulled into the back. And he got me out of the car, and I don't know if he like moved my cuffs to the front, or they uncuffed me, and they allowed me to wash my face off in the sink. There was like a sink there, kind of like a water fountain thing. I can't exactly describe it. So I grabbed the contacts, and I just pulled them out of my eye, and I just put my head inside that water, and I tried to wash off this oily substance with water, and it didn't work out great, but it felt a lot better than it did previously. I think some of it you just got to take. It kind of really sucked. Then I got locked up for about a week in jail, and there's really no charges filed against me, because I originally started over in something dumb, that I did, and they were just going to talk to me, from what I understand. Like, I was just like, dude, you're an idiot. I was just going to talk to you. I don't know, he called me an idiot. I'm not saying he did. He just was like, dude, we're just going to talk to you, and then you turn it into this thing. I think they were just going to come and talk to me, but I was being a dumbass. I don't know why I was being that stupid. I should have just listened. But anyway, here we go. I fought the law, and the law won. So I was in jail for a week, and they let me go. No charges. My first week in jail, super lame. On to another time. So I had this friend, used to hang out with him. We would run and gun or whatever. We're always out partying. And I don't really use his name. We'll call him like friend number one or something. And me and friend number one, we used to kick it. We just party. That's what it was. Do some getting in trouble together, but mostly just party. And I think I went to go look for him one day, and I found out that he was arrested. I couldn't find him, and I heard that he was in city jail, down back over to, well, there's Third Street is how you go into the front. So that's where I went. I went to the Yakima Police Department, and I was like, showed him my ID. I want to go in and visit, my friend. I was like, I ain't seen you in a while. Hey, what's up? And we were just sitting there, and we were talking. I'm like, how you doing, man? And he was like, well, I'm in here. And I'm like, he's telling me how long he's got and all this kind of stuff. And I'm on the other side. We're on like a phone, and there's glass between us, and I'm just kind of sitting there. And we're talking for like probably a couple minutes. And then all of a sudden his eyes get really big. And I'm like, hey, bro, what's up? And he's like, behind you. And I don't know if I was just kind of sitting in a chair, and I like turn around, and I look up, and there's a regular sized police officer. And I don't know. I don't know what regular is. Maybe 5'10" and another police officer who's like really big, like not kind of big, like huge. Anyway, he's just kind of like, I mean, he's his own backup. I'm like, holy crap. Anyway, I look up and there's this like, Mr. Wilkes, and I'm like, yes. And he's like, we have a warrant for your arrest. And I looked at him and I was like, can I go quietly? And I mean, I was being serious. I learned that if you say, and this is advice, if you say, can I go quietly, in a really positive way, and just cooperate, you don't get your ass kicked. Back over that mace thing, I mean, I don't know if this is like a PSA or something. I don't know. Do what you want. Do what you want. Yeah, wow. Can I go quietly? And he's just like this big buff dude, He's, oh, either way, they're kind of sad. They wanted me to try something. I don't necessarily know that they wanted me to try something, but it's kind of like you're in that situation. I'm in the beehive. I'm not getting out without getting. I'm getting stung. I'm not getting out, is what I'm saying. I'm already in the place. So, needless to say, I just got up and put on my hands and really slowly, and they cuffed me and walked me in. Anyway, so they booked me and got my fingerprints. Still inking fingerprints back then. So they inked me up and then gave me a little paper towel and I wiped it off and he brought me into a room and I was sitting there, just kind of waiting. I think it's their version of classification at the time. It was just a little white room and there's a locked door and I'm just sitting there with a cuff, being cuffed to something. And this dude comes in. He was he was a policeman. I think he was more like a guard though. He was on guard duty. He was like, "Hey, dude, you were really cooperative. We still have a couple of meals here. Do you want them?" I'm like, "Yeah, please." So, call me anything you want except late for fucking dinner. That's all I'm saying. So that cop was really cool. He didn't have to. When you hit there and they've already passed out dinner, they can be done. But he was right. I was cooperative. Towards I don't know if this is towards the ending of my using career or whatever, but I learned that I would just cooperate with police. Except for the ending when I was trying to off myself, but because it always got worse, and I'm gonna get into why. Because there's a couple of stories that I had that I took some pretty legendary ass whoopings messing with these guys. Wow. Okay, we won't get there yet. But anyway, my point is that he's like, "You've been cooperative, you had a couple meals." And so I had a couple. They had these TV dinners, and I guess they assemble these TV dinners in prison. This food is legit. It's really good. I don't know. They're really good. They're better than TV dinners you buy at Safeway or something. I was really happy. So I ate that, and they brought me to my. They were like, "Dude, we're out of we don't have any extra room in that one cell over there with where your friend's at." And I'm like, "That's cool. Just give me a mat and I'll sleep on the floor." And they're like, "Oh, all right. Here's a mat. Go chill." They don't even care. They're totally. I learned that when you're cooperating, life is so much easier. They're just doing their job, and honestly, I'm the one that fucked up. It wasn't like they did crime and now they're arresting me. So anyway, they let me throw my mat down on the floor, and I got to hang out with friend number one until he got out, and then I was in there a little bit longer, and then I got out, and then I'm sure we were off partying again. I don't know if there's a moral to that story or not. It's just kind of funny. I just went to go visit my friend and didn't realize I had a warrant for not showing up for probation or whatever. So I was at Yakima Valley Community College, YVCC. It's on 16th and Nob Hill. They used to have this dorm, and I don't know if it's still there. It might still be there. I don't know. It was Lions dorm, and that was for the guys at that time. I don't know if it still is. Whatever. Doesn't matter. And I got kicked out of that school. All I had to do was go to class. I guess the funny thing is I was in chemical dependency studies. So I was drinking. I was drinking at my dorm. I don't know if I started there, but anyway, I only drank a couple of beers, but it was really bad because I was on the psychotropic medication called Stelazine, it's like a 1965 antipsychotic medication. It's time release, I think, or something inside of it, so it stays in your body, or it's just supposed to be built up. I don't know. Whatever, it plays a role, because what happened is I drank a couple of beers while I was on the psychotropic medication, and I still could function and walk around. But I was kind of like in idiot mode. And you ever drive past a fence and you've got all those like little slats of fencing and you can see inside of the fencing, you know? And so it becomes a picture, even though you're looking through, you're seeing like a lot of fence, but you've got like little holes. So then you drive by and then you can see a picture. All right. I went to a blackout, but my blackout, I was coming in and out of blackout. Now, I don't know, but it was like intervals. Like I would be there in the moment trying to realize what's going on, and then I'd go into a blackout, and I can't really put a time frame on it, but it was in and out over and over again. And so I'm going to tell you about the parts that I remember about this time that I was arrested, with the memory that I have, but not the black spots. But the black, oh, here's Gus.